Let's go now to the Malaysian capital where Southeast Asia correspondent Zoe Daniels joins me now. Zoe, what's been the reaction on the ground there in Malaysia?
Look, I think it's fair to say that the reaction's been largely one of surprise. Those who advocate for asylum seekers and refugees here are somewhat mystified at the idea by the Australian government to actually divert asylum seekers into the Malaysian system. There are already 94,000 people here on a list, some asylum seekers, some genuine refugees who are waiting for resettlement in other countries. The issues for them have been well documented. They wait here sometimes for many years. They have no legal rights within Malaysia and therefore they face all sorts of issues around intimidation and exploitation. They're forced to work illegally and have great difficulty supporting themselves and then eventually are mostly resettled in other countries or deported back to their own countries because Malaysia doesn't accept any refugees itself. So on the basis of all of those issues, for the 90,000 odd people who are already here, refugee advocates, lawyers and refugee people themselves are quite surprised at this concept.
Will this still put Malaysia under more pressure to sign the UN Convention on Refugees?
Well, I think it's possible that it will. In fact, yesterday a loose grouping of refugee advocacy organisations, refugee committees, so that is ethnic groups who represent actual refugees, mainly from Burma, and lawyers launched a new campaign to encourage the Malaysian government to sign the UN Convention. They made the point that 142 countries are signatories to that convention and they question why Malaysia isn't, particularly when it is such a notorious transit point for asylum seekers and refugees. But even in launching that campaign, refugee advocates here say that there's no move by the Malaysian government to actually sign that convention and that it's very unlikely that they'll do so. The main reason for that being that if they were to sign the convention, they would have to give asylum seekers and refugees legal status and legal rights here in Malaysia. At the moment, they're not acknowledged as having any legal status at all. Therefore, as I said, they're unable to work, they aren't provided with education and they don't get a lot of support within the community.
Zoe Daniel in Malaysia, thanks for bringing us up to date.